Okay, it says we're live. I guess that means I should take it serious now. Hopefully you got me, because we are indeed live. I have really no agenda going on tonight. What I was wondering about, though, is there seemed to be a lot of people overwhelmed by the whole 32-bit floating point video that I released on Wednesday. So I thought that if there was any questions you needed clarified or anything like that, feel free to ask. I see we have 3 people on right now. You see what I'm getting ready. The zip is. And let me just block the mic. That'd be great. You don't need to hear. I'm eye candy enough, aren't I? Sure. That's what all the girls said back in high school, Ellen, when they were running away. But aside from that, how are we doing tonight? Sound is looping. Sound is looping. What does sound is looping mean? Does it mean, yes, is anybody else? I was going to say, because I understand what the term actually means, but I don't know why it would be echoing. Let's see, we have the sound speeds. Kal-El is here, or Kyle. Make sure you have 2 tabs. You don't have 2 tabs open. Yeah, that's good. Good troubleshooting. It's on my end. No worries. We got the zip fizz happening here. Of course, guess what happened? As soon as I hit live, my nose started itching. I don't know what it is about live streaming. My nose always itches. That and the fact that for some reason sitting here causes drowsiness because my eyes always enjoy acting up and I need to get some more eye drops. But anyway, so I'm here. I thought we'd hang out. It's a Friday night. I don't really have any agenda, anything in particular. I thought if you wanted to hear certain stories about anything in particular, you just bought a neat King Bee. Love it so far. Absolutely. Glad to have done that video. It was a lot of fun. I actually got the King Bee about 2.5 years ago. I had seen it. I thought it was kind of gimmicky in look, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this thing. And I got it, and I was like, wow, this thing is actually surprisingly good. And there wasn't a whole lot of people talking about it. And I even told Bandrew at the time, and he was like, oh, you got one of those B mics. I was like, yeah, I decided to give one a shot. And it's not that bad. And he's like, I've never heard one. So we started talking about it a little bit. And, wouldn't you know, their price dropped on them like crazy a 1.5 years later. And that's when we did that video. If you're wondering what this is, to quote the Green Mile, electricity shall now be passed through your body. I have a muscle stimulator that I thought I would use because I haven't limbered up my muscles or anything like with a muscle stimulator. It used to be I would go off and work. I would, strain my muscles or whatever. I would then decide to use the muscle stimulator just to kind of have fun and relax them because, after working out pretty much all day with booms and whatever, it's Kevin Amick. Kevin is there. How's it going, Kevin? Great to see you on here tonight. But anyway, so after working out, normally, on set, lifting up booms and things like that, it's one of those things where you kind of would get home and you decide that you're going to do some muscle stimulation action to try to relax and tense up the muscles. So I thought I'd do that tonight, not just for amusement's sake, but because I haven't done it in a while. So I'm going to do that right now. I don't know if you can actually see it or not, but my muscles are on full blast right now, which is supposed to be probably more violent than this, but it's not that bad. The big thing to keep in mind if you ever do use a muscle stimulator, just so you know, is you don't want to fire through any kind of joint ligaments like this. You can fire through like a muscle if it was here and here. Like right now I have one on my bicep here and I have one on the front of my arm. You can put one on the back of your shoulder right here and then maybe on the front of it. But you don't want to fire through something like from the arm to the shoulder because where like that ball goes into the socket at the joint, if you fire through that, it can cause electrical disturbances or something is the way it was explained to me. And it can actually break down the ligament and make it stiff over time, which you don't want to have happen. So if you do a muscle stimulator, just do not fire through and leave like one muscle group or something along those lines. Don't go through anything like from here to here, even though you would never do it on the back of your hand. That would be pointless. I mean, I guess you could. There is muscles there. but you wouldn't ever want to fire through something like your wrist or something like that. Anyway, so let's see. 350 mic for $100 to $130, such a great deal. It is, and it's a really solid mic too. So Kevin Amick is here. If he is the person that is in charge of education over at my union hall, and I'll tell you, he and I have worked together on over 40 classes, and this man here, every single time I have a class, he knows how weird I am. He knows how laid back I am in some ways and how detail-oriented I'll say on other things. And he has always catered to me like a boss. He's amazing. So Kevin is a great guy, love him to death, and I could not be happier that he's doing well, hopefully. I hope you're doing well. I haven't talked to you a whole lot. We haven't done a whole lot of classes together this year because of the whole shutdown thing, but I hope you're doing well, man. So, is the super low EIN on the 100, the E100S actually useful? Okay, here's the thing to know. It's not EIN if it's on a microphone. It is noise floor. First of all, EIN is more for if you take an input level, because if you watch my video on EIN, you'll realize it's equivalent input noise. So it's basically the noise that is taken in if it were basically assigned a decibel value in the analog world. But is it useful? If your noise floor is, let's say, as long as your noise floor isn't too high. I mean, if your noise floor is extremely low, then on your microphone, then that's going to be a good thing if you're recording in a quiet environment. Because if your noise floor on your microphone is here and your environmental noise is here, it's going to be, the noise floor is going to be the environmental noise. If your noise floor is below that of your microphone, which in the case of the E100S, which is, I believe, one of the like top 5 lowest noise microphones there is out there, at least that I'm aware of, then it would take a very low noise floor to be able to hear the noise floor of the E100S. And if you could get it that low, then it would be so easy just to knock it out, to just completely knock it out in post, if you even heard it at all. So, yeah, Metal 571. I have a video about EIN. I'll post it real quick in case you haven't seen it. There's 2 videos I've done about EIN. There's one on measuring EIN, and then there's one on EIN itself. So if you're curious, I will put the EIN Made Easy video, which is, it gets into the technical aspects of it. It's a fairly quick video. It's only like 5 minutes, 42 seconds long. So it is talking about EIN, and then there is how to measure EIN. Measuring, how to measure EIN made easy. Okay. Oh, that was how to measure EIN. Okay. Hold on 1 second. I don't want to repost the same one. Equivalent input noise made easy. So that was measuring EIN in about 8 minutes. And then equivalent input noise made easy. I explain EIN in about 8 minutes. So you could have every bit of knowledge that you ever needed on EIN, and then some probably, if you want to spend 13 minutes watching videos that I produced. Okay. But basically the big thing to keep in mind is your noise floor is only as good as the loudest thing that your microphone is picking up. So if that is the self noise of the microphone because you have a noisy microphone, then you should try to get that down if you can. And the way to get that down is by getting a lower noise microphone if you want. Now, I have a story I've told in other live streams. I don't know if you were here, but there was an experiment I was doing just to play around, not intending on going anywhere, trust me. And it was to learn and to teach myself a little bit through actual trial and error about ASMR. I wanted to learn some stuff, and I don't want to ask anybody. I don't want to do anything. I know how to record quietly. I know what to do. I just decided to do it and run an experiment. Well, the night I did that, there just so happened to be at about 2:30 in the morning, there was loud engines I heard squealing tires right outside of out in front of my house. I heard cars that were squealing, or a car, I should say, is the way it sounded. driving down the road, and then I heard squealing tires, and then I heard a crash. And this was in the middle of my recording session, by the way, with two microphones, which were the extremely low noise Rode NTG1. So needless to say that my noise floor was extremely low. My background noise was extremely quiet. And I had a pretty much an ideal recording of something that happened probably about maybe a tenth of a mile down my street. And my road, as it continues on down this way, it makes a curve this way. It curves that way. It goes down a hill. It kind of starts to make a little bit of a right turn again. And at that point, that was the house that got crashed into. And there was somebody who that night posted and said, if you heard that squealing crash, somebody crashed into our house, and posted a picture. And then there was, police called and that kind of thing, fire department. And apparently the kids got out and they ran. But they instantly decided that it was dumb to run because the car was in their name. So they quickly came back. They admitted to it, apologized, and that kind of thing. And it was handled accordingly. Until the next day when I was riding on a bike. Oops, sorry about that. I was riding on my bike with my middle daughter, and we happened to see. I went by there and I saw that. And I said to myself, this just doesn't seem right. This doesn't seem right at all. And I went back and listened to my recording. And remember how I said that the tire squealing happened until the moment of impact? Well, in front of this house, there was about 30 or so feet of like two tires screeching through grass before the crash into their house. So I thought about it and I said, there is no way in the world that tires are going to squeal like that if they're on grass. So I went back and listened to the entire thing, and that's when I heard a second engine in there. I started hearing two different sets of squealing tires. And then I put it out on my neighborhood forum and I said, hey, did anybody happen to have a Ring camera or something on the front of your house, and you might be able to check at 2:31 or whatever time exactly it was that when I recorded it, because I had it time stamped on my Mix Pre 6. I said, does anybody have the exact a recording that would have been picked up on your Ring? And one guy privately sent me a message, and you clear as day see two. He says, well, it's not from the front of the house, but you can see from his living room, you can see two sets of headlights going across the front window. And at that point, we've had issues with street racers in the neighborhood. So kind of zero tolerance towards it by this point, because it happens too much. And we have a lot of kids in the neighborhood and don't want anybody to get hit. So at this point, we have a neighborhood police officer who I reached out to, and I said, hey, I want you to listen to this recording. I want you to look at this picture that I took from their house today as I was, going by on my bike. And I said, look at this video and tell me what you see. He looked at me and said, it looks to me like there was two sets of headlights that went by. He didn't understand the sound. And I said, the sound is of squealing tires to the moment of impact. And he wrote back and said, I see what you mean now. That wouldn't sound that way. I think there was a second car out there. And I said, yeah, I believe that we probably had street racers in our neighborhood. So at that point, he went back and they re-questioned the kids that crashed into the person's house, and they admitted to it, that they were street racing. So we had some street racers shut down from our neighborhood, all because of the sound, the power of sound, which is awesome. I do have those pictures. I might share it in Discord sometime if you're on my Discord and you want to see them. If not, I'm not going to share them in a live stream because it involves pictures of the front of someone's house and audio recordings and things like that. I'm not going to put that out on in public on the internet. But I will at least share it in Discord because I can show it to the people who are in there that I know are there, and then I can delete it instantly. And if you have an interest, you can ask, and I will share with you the audio files or whatever. Okay, so let's see. Pop filter is being iffy. What pop filter would you recommend? I only do voice work. I'll tell you, the pop filter that I like the very most has always been the Stedman ones. I only just recently got one, but I've always liked the Stedmans because it is very open and it redirects air. Now, I know Bandrew has, and since someone mentioned Bandrew, he likes that one that's kind of like it looks like a piece of hard sponge. And those are the same kind that come on the Rycote USM. That it actually has the Rycote USM shock mount, which is lyre base. It has 4 different lyre suspensions on that, and it has built in one of those screens on the front. And I think it's a very neat design too. It's very, very open as well. But the Stedmans are very low profile. They're extremely transparent, and personally, I like those. I don't know what the one that's kind of sponge looking one that he's using right now. It is very open though as well. But personally, I like the Stedmans. The one I have right there that I'm looking at is the Stedman XL, which I talked about in the episode of my the Sound Support podcast that I just got through releasing, and I will be doing yet another one next week. So I finally got 3 questions, which is what my minimum is for doing another episode of the podcast. So it'll probably be maybe 10 to 15 minutes long. We'll see what happens. And there's at least a couple of good ones in there. It's going to be fun. Okay. Sorry for the correction. EIN. All right. Watch lens. Okay. 2 different videos there for you to watch. Correction. Noise floor from the mic is easier to knock out in post when it was in the past. Noise floor from a mic. Yeah, it's very easy to knock out because it's predictable. It's electronic noise. You know what it is. But background noise in your environment, normally in the world of analog audio, post that's why you would record a world tone, a room tone. That's what it would be. Room tone indoors, world tone outside. But you would record a room tone and use that. You'd invert the phase and use that to help cancel out. Anyway, cool material, huge fan, awesome. Oh, I remember this story. I think you told it in the podcast, its voice. It was amazing. Yeah, something like that. I've told it a few different times. I'm wondering did Ribbon mic reviews for voiceover and podcasts? What do you think? No one I'm aware of did Ribbon mic reviews for voiceover and podcasting. What do you think? I think Banjo has done, he did one Ribbon microphone that he tested. It was about $100 microphone. And then he has another one, I don't know if he's done it yet, which is a Ribbon microphone designed specifically for voiceover. I don't know of anybody else that really has done that, but I know he's getting in slowly, starting to do some of the voiceover ones. And it says, I think Banjo has taking a liking to ribbons. I think he found an AEA for one for his podcast recently. Yeah, that's exactly right. Mentioned the KU5A a couple of times. No review yet, like the metal ones. Yeah. Oh, the metal ones. Yes, the Stedman Pro. It's metal, and it is a very, very good, very open. I mean, it looks like a scrim that you would add in a light if you wanted to kill a couple of stops out of a light. It looks like that. But what it does is, if you look at it on a microscopic level, it has like a weave kind of that looks like this. And just like how if you're breathing, your breath, if you ever take like 2 fingers and you put them kind of in front of your mouth, it breaks up the breath enough. Like if you do this along with me right now, you're talking, you feel your breath right here. Like I'm going to try not to block up the pattern in my microphone. I can feel my breath right here. If I just add 1 or 2 fingers in front, you feel it cut down quite a bit. The breath trims down quite a bit. The same thing happens on the Stedman. Usually what happens with breath is airflow goes out very, very fast close to your mouth. And the farther it goes away, it starts to kind of swirl like this. As your breath gets farther and farther away, if anything disrupts it or hits it, it starts that swirl pattern. So if it hits my finger here, it's got to basically route around it. If it's a flat surface, it will hit it and come to like a halt. If it hits it and it's more of a curved type, cylindrical type surface, then it will kind of go around it, which is the reason why if you take something like this, a round surface, and you blow at a surface like this and there's a candle behind it, you can actually blow out the candle. But if you take the same exact surface area and you tape like a playing card or something to the front of the same exact thing, then it's going to, instead of basically make an aerofoil type feel kind of around the curve, instead of it wrapping around, because what would happen is doesn't just break and dissipate. It actually breaks and it kind of goes around kind of like an airplane wing. And so when that happens, the air would kind of converge and it will continue to kind of go straight, but it does lose some of its energy. So if you were to blow straight at a candle, you can blow it out. You blow through something like this, same exact thing, you can blow it out. You hit something that's a flat surface like a phone, and it completely stops. Do this experiment at your house. It's almost the exact same surface area right here. I mean, I could show you with a candle, but I would have to actually set it up and prep. There's not a candle nearby right now. Okay, your booth looks like a cage. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I'll do one better. I will do one better for you there. There is a video I made all about it where I upgraded my studio. Here it is right here, Jeff. You can watch that video and it will explain everything about what you see. Basically, I wanted it to look like a soundstage, and that's exactly what we have going on here is a soundstage look. So if you want to watch that video, it will talk about the upgrade from my old booth set look to my new studio look. And you see me basically build it. You see me build it. You hear before and after. You hear a lot. And so it explains everything in 15 minutes. So there you go. All right. Any questions or anything out there? Because we have somehow managed to not get very, very far behind in voice chat. Kevin, are you still out there? Because if so, I want you to tell me the brand of that. What was the name of that product that you told me about? It was the skin prep stuff that you told me about that they use in hospitals. If you're still there. I was talking about skin prep the other day. I could not remember the name of the brand, and I should have gotten it tonight because I could have told anybody on the stream. Your story 10 minutes ago sounds like film blowout. The film blowout. I don't know what that... Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. What's in your kit? Okay. All right. This is one of those things that's really funny. I have an extensive kit. Very crazy kit. And so it's one of those things that I could talk about it, or I could post the video right there of me talking and showing it. I take everything out of the kit. I talk about it. I explain what it's for. It's a 47-minute long video, but Fair Sound, if you're interested in what's in my kit, that goes into it. It talks about everything from the 9 boom poles I have to the scooter that I have as part of my kit. Well, I actually just sold the scooter because I wasn't using it much anymore. But if I get another one, I know exactly what I'm getting. And I tell you, the scooter it was made by Elite Scooters, super elite scooters out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And if you want to talk about scooters, I think it was like a $550 or $600 scooter because I got the Elite 1000 now. Not all scooters are the same. You can't get one of those discount ones from Walmart and have it be the same thing. This had like dual front shocks, single rear shocks. The thing, even me, I'm not a light guy, but I could step right up on the thing and without a kickstart, crank the wheel and it would sprint off. It would start flying. The thing got up to 30 miles an hour. I got it re-geared to actually put more power into it because I don't need to go that fast. But putting more power into it would allow it to go up a hill, and it did, even with me on there. And so what I would do is I did a TV show a couple years ago called American Soul, and they had their own stages down in Atlanta. And what I did is they didn't just shoot on their sound stages, which are warehouses converted, but they also had a whole bunch of other warehouses nearby in the same kind of industrial park area. And so they would say, oh, we're going to be shooting down on our exterior over here. Now we're going to be shooting at the exterior over there. Now we're going to be shooting at the exterior over there. And so what I would do is I wouldn't wait for a van to come and pick me up, nor would I decide that I was going to just wheel it down the road. What I would do is I would take my scooter. When I would see on the call sheet that we had multiple different locations, I would go out, get my scooter, and as soon as we would get ready to go, I would pack up my entire boom caddy. I'd throw everything, and I would take it, stick it on the scooter, and then I would just hit the road. I would jump on the back of the scooter, and I would just start driving. And I would drive to the location, and because it got up to, when it was re-geared, it basically took, from the top speed of 30 miles an hour, it took it down to 23 miles an hour. And in doing so, it added about about a third of the speed went away. No, it went down to 75% speed, but it basically converted that into about a third more power because of the way it was regeared. And so it was quite a bit more powerful. And I could zip wherever I was going. I could jump on the thing, and before the director and the first AD and first team would get even into the van, I would be on the location. So they would say, okay, great, let's get the director in the van, and they would be leaving set. I would jump, throw everything on there, and while they were loading up the van, I would be jumping out on the road and flying down the street. And so I would be sitting there looking through the sides, starting to study the lines and everything when they pulled up, and they'd be like, how did you get here? Because we were on the first van out. And I would just be like, well, I'd point over at the scooter and then be like, oh. So that thing right there was actually pretty amazing. Okay, what's my favorite ribbon microphone? Don't even know. I don't deal with ribbon microphones very much. The only thing I've ever done really with ribbon microphones is destroy them, which I will post that video if you have not seen it. People, this is a funny little tidbit of knowledge too. I'm going to look and see how much money I've made on that video since published. $1.95 I have made on the 949 views I have done that I've had on that. But I spent $400 almost for the microphones that I destroyed for that video. So I kind of laugh at the stupidity of basically destroying $400 worth of microphones. But I had 4 ribbon microphones, and they're actually over there. And you see me do everything to those microphones that you're not supposed to do. And here's the video, and it's even called Everything You're Not Supposed to Do to a Ribbon Microphone. I electrocute it, not just with phantom power, but I actually plug it into a wall. I don't just nail it with plosives, but I scream into it. I use a hyper whistle, which is advertised as the world's loudest whistle. I blow it with an air horn. I do all kinds of stuff. Just watch the video. It's a lot of fun. Okay, Kevin answered my question. If you were in the live stream I did, or in Discord the other day when I was talking about it, I've talked about this a couple of different times. There is a skin prep solution. There's a whole bunch of different brands, but if you put on your skin what they would use in a hospital they would wipe something on your skin if they're going to be taping on an IV or the needle that goes into an IV or whatever it is. If you were to lave somebody up and it's going to be summer and people are sweating and you want to prep the skin so that way we'll take the tapes better than the adhesives without hurting the actor, because you don't want to put like carpet tape on them where when you pull it off, it's going to pull off the top 3 layers of skin and leave a big, huge rash. The idea and goal is that if an actor were to have to, take the lave off, you don't want them to hurt their skin. If it's a male actor, for example, and he's sometimes, in movies or TV shows without changing shirts or something like movies love to do, you don't want them to be red right there from wearing a lave, or have skin that's been destroyed because of it, or have there be any kind of a physical damage. Nor do you really want the actor to be affected so badly that they say, I don't want you to do that again. I don't want you to do anything like that. They'll say that they have sensitive skin or whatever. Well, this stuff here is used in hospitals. And what you do is you wipe it on skin. You let it dry, which is about 45 seconds. And then you could take your regular, anything from Blender, Mech-Batac, waterproof tape, whatever you want, and stick a lave on. You can use moleskin, you can use the bunion cushions, unmedicated, obviously, and you can put that directly on their skin, and it's going to hold much better. And so by doing that, it's going to give you a great connection right there. So it's going to hold wonderfully. Well, Kevin has been so kind. He gave me a sample about a year or 2 ago of one that he said, I've seen you talk about this in the Lave class. There's another newer product that's a great one. If you were to look at Skin Tack Wipe, I'll actually do a search real quick for it. And what I'll do is I'll post, I guess there'll be an affiliate link if they have it here, but I'll at least post that there. That way, if you are curious, yep, this is it right here. And this is beautiful stuff. I bought this before. It's there's this one right here. I'll put a link to it if you have an interest in a solid, and I've used this before and it does a beautiful job. It is the skin tack that Kevin supplied us with, it is definitely the best, and it releases very easily with the skin adhesive remover. So if you use this right here, it's Skin Tack brand wipes. It creates a little barrier allowing you to stick on a lav. It will hold on better. It will not damage skin if you use an adhesive remover. And let's see, I'll do a search real quickly for an adhesive remover, and wouldn't you know it, it's right here. So this brand I have not used, but it's made by the same company. And since it is a registered trademark, I will assume that it is a great thing. So, yeah, it looks like it's the same exact stuff. It looks like it's made by the same company. So here is the adhesive remover, but you can really use any brand at all that you're interested in. But what these are for is you can use it to prep the skin. And because you don't want to just pull a tape straight off of an actor, you can use the adhesive remover. I should really demonstrate this at some point. I should do the live stream I do next week. I'll demonstrate this. I'll put some, because one of the things I'll do on set when I'm testing out these materials is, if it's summer, I'll take the thing and I'll stick it to my forehead, and then I'll take a lav and I'll throw it up over the back of my head and I'll tape it in place. And then I'll put a hat or I'll clip or something like that on. And then I will, as I walk around, you sweat naturally from the top of your head right there. And I'll see how effective the skin prep actually works with the same material. I always use a bunion cushion, and I always do the same exact thing. So people on set will look at me kind of weird. They'll say, "What's that for?" I'm like, "I'm testing an adhesive or an adhesive remover or something like that." So I do that on set, and people are like, "Oh, that's really, really weird." Anyway, good times, good fun. When you do location sound. What's my kit when I do location sound? I'm not an ENG guy, so I don't really have a kit designed for that. But there you go. Yeah, it's great for the sweat, I hear. I need some. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, so Fair Sound, there you go. Those are things great. Please consider, if you buy any, please consider using those links right there. It's, not a kickback. It's basically the equivalent of how manufacturers will offer a discount, like in the form of a coupon. If you do something like that, if you say, "Oh, I saw this in the Atlanta Journal and Constitution," or whatever, magazine. If you take a coupon, then they would basically give you a discount towards it. Amazon does the same thing, but through their associate program. So if you happen to use one of those links, it'll give me 10 cents or whatever it is. It's gone down. Your thoughts about the interesting guy from Eternal Family YouTube channel. I don't know what that is. Eternal Family. I have no idea what that is. David's in the house. Hey, David. Gerg is here. How's it going, man? Good to see you tonight. Thanks for coming out here. Muscle Stimulator is still working just great here, electrifying my shoulders, which is making me very, very happy. I think the only thing that will make me happier right now is to have some good old-fashioned Zip Fizz like the way we used to do it when I was young. Actually, I didn't have Zip Fizz when I was young. What did I do when I was a kid? I remember we used to always go to the swimming pool, and you would always jump in and out of the pool. You never washed your hands or washed the chlorine off and all those summer chemicals and stuff. Everyone in the world that was in this big old huge Olympic-sized swimming pool, you'd all get out there, and since it was a swim meet, what they do is they would get like 3 or 4 flavors of Kool-Aid. And you basically, you have somebody that would just take scissors and slit it open, and then everybody would take little pinches of it. And since you all had, slippery hands from having been in the pool, you all had all this chlorine that you were sticking your hands in the Kool-Aid, taking pinches, putting it straight in your mouth, taking your saliva, putting it back into the Kool-Aid, and then all the other kids around did the exact same thing. You gotta love the 80s. 80s was an amazing time. We actually had immune systems back then. We didn't need antibiotics to fix things. And that's one of the reasons why I really love things like Zip Fizz, which you've heard me talk about so many times. It's because it's kind of like a multivitamin. It gives you a nice, boost of vitamins and stuff. And I think this is probably one of the reasons why, knock on wood, I always say this. There we go. I don't get sick much. I don't get sick hardly at all or ever. And part of the reason is because I think that I keep my vitamins going, because Lord knows I don't eat the healthiest. I need to get back into the habit of eating healthy, though. I was just talking about getting another salt block the other day. Got to wait until I land a show, get some money happening. But once I get on one of those shows, I want to get one of those Himalayan sea salt blocks. I need to actually make a wish list. I need to make like an Amazon wish list and put everything in there that I've talked about buying or something like that, because I need to just buy this stuff once I get on another show. And I always forget what it is. I have lists on my phone, but then what do? I forget to go into it. Now, Amazon, on the other hand, I'm always on Amazon. So it even has its own little special tab here in my Chrome. Okay, I just got back from having a nice 22-ounce T-bone. You've heard me talk about Kevin. Actually, Kevin's in here. Kevin, have you ever been in Alabama or in Nashville or some of the other places around to a restaurant called the Santa Fe Cattle Company? It's a place, they used to have one in Alabama. When I went there, the one time I only ever went there, my grandmother had just died. My grandfather and I took a road trip to sprinkle her ashes over her parents' graves. And we went out there, we scouted it out because we were going to do it the next day. We scouted it out, and there was like a church, service, and they were, singing and stuff inside the church, and it was nice and peaceful. We at least found the grave and that kind of thing. And then we were staying in a hotel, and we had asked the guy at the front desk, "Do you know of a place? Do you know of a place that we could eat dinner that's kind of cool?" And the guy, straight up, without missing a beat, said, without missing a beat, he says, "Santa Fe Cattle Company." And we're like, "What's that?" Well, he told us, "Do you like meat?" We're like, "Yeah, I love meat." He was like, "Oh yeah, just go there." And he had no other suggestions. And we're just like, "Yeah, sure, okay." Well, this guy was kind of weird, and he was young. We're like, this guy's not gonna know what's good meat and what's not. Anyway, here we are stereotyping this poor guy just because it was Alabama or whatever, I guess. But we went out, scouted out the grave, and on the way back, we've been looking for places to eat, couldn't find anything. We didn't want to just do something like Sonny's or McDonald's. And then we happened to pass it. It was right next to the hotel. I'm like, you want to give it a try? We went in there, and man, we got this, like, at the time it was like $16. And it had fall off the bone ribs. And it had like tender, juicy chicken. And it had like sausage that you bite into with the juices just squirted everywhere. We're like, and then they brought out these amazing rolls, and they brought out all this stuff, and we're just like, man, this is so good. Every bit of it we just loved. And they kept bringing more and more food out. And we're like, this is all included? Like, yep. And just so matter of fact, loved it. And I've been talking about wanting to go to that place again. Kevin, you and I should take a road trip up to Nashville someday. And just, and I should say that if any viewer out there wants to meet me, I need to pick a location, pick a day, and go. And say, anyone that wants to meet us there, come and meet me at the Santa Fe Cattle Company, because I have been wanting to go there again ever since. So I saw Gerg has gone to the Santa Fe Cattle Company tonight. Your steak was overcooked, but it was good and tasty. And then, of course, Kevin, he's been posting pictures on Facebook all about the different things he's cooking in his backyard on his grill. And that was another one. It got tagged as, because he said the word butt. I guess it got, "Hey, would you like to show or hide this?" I'm like, well, Kevin wrote the word butt. So anyway, it got held by my chat. But I tell you, man, that was probably the single best full of meat dinner I've ever had. Yeah, Gerg, it's being held for review too. Should I show? Yeah, sure, I'll show that, whatever. It's funny. All right, let me jump back in here. When you said T-Bone originally, Gerg, I looked at that and I was thinking, oh, a T-Bone microphone. And on the note, Gerg, you asked, what is the mic of the night? I have returned to the T-Bone SC400. If you watch my past live streams, I did the DPA 4018C. I did the Rode NT1 for a couple of times. I've done multiple different microphones. I tried out the AKG C535EB. I tried a whole bunch of them. You guys know I do not like to have a microphone in my face. So I need to have something that has some reach to it. Super cardioid pattern microphones are going to be great for me because I can get them a little bit farther away and they're not going to pick up too much reflection. I mean, it's not perfect here, but it means that I can still do all of this and you're not going to see me hit a microphone. There's nothing above me that's obstructing my light. There's nothing below me here. It's a little farther away, so it's right over here. So if I hit this thing, bring it up in frame, you can see it. But right now, it's just dangling over here. It's not obstructing my view. It's far enough away. I'm not killing it with plosives. That's what I'm using. I hear it occasionally hit, but not too often. That's the microphone I'm using tonight. Pixie Sticks and Cola, says Kevin. Cola. There's a southern word for you. All right, never heard of it. Let's see here. Happy Friday, Andreas. How's it going, man? Thanks for coming in here. Kevin will definitely have to make it a date sometime. Go out there or call it a pork shoulder for your channel. You know, Kevin, do you know how to make fall off the bone ribs? Because if so, we should just hang out sometime and just, slow grill. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Have you tried the CMIT 5U? Of course. Honestly, it's a nice mic. It's too bright for my taste. I don't like overly bright microphones. I'm kind of a weird oddball. A lot of people really love the CMIT 5U. To me, it sounds too bright. It's way too bright for my taste. That's just me, though. I know I'm an oddball. I know a lot of people are like, oh, no, it's great. It reaches and pulls out well. Yeah, it does. I mean, no question about it, but it's way bright. I just don't like that. What Twitch and YouTube streamers need for good audio? On what budget, Jim? Because you can do it cheap, you can do it more expensive. Let's just throw the Zip Fizz around. If you want to just go for basic bare bones, what I would say is you first of all want to add a little bit of acoustic treatment. You ideally want to have some sort of a microphone you can get close enough to your face that will not obstruct your hand movement for your keyboard or your mouse. One preferably that is not right in your face. It drives me crazy when I see people do streams with a microphone right here and a windscreen right here, and they're blocking their face. It's like, look, don't put yourself on camera if you're going to block your face. The whole purpose of having a camera there is so you can see and feel a connection with someone. And if you're blocking off half your face, then you're Phantom of the Opera-ing it, and you're not seeing the person. It's obstruction at that point. You're obstructing your view. Pick your camera angles better. Pick your microphone placement better, because just like right now, you're hearing me. Now, yes, if I put the microphone up here, I'm going to sound a lot better. But if I wanted to, let me show you. All right. I'll do this. I'll change this out. Move this over here. Angle this direction. And if I wanted to, I'm not obstructing my face anymore. I am changing my light up. And if I were to angle this now downwards, if I changed up my light, brought it more over here instead, you're hearing me better. You're seeing me better. Because I didn't set up for that here, I'm not going to do this. I could even get this microphone closer, but I'm at the end of my length on my cable. You can do it and improve things if you really want to. And it's still going to take a microphone, put it out of your face. It's still going to sound good. There we go. Sorry for messing with the microphone and doing all that kind of stuff. But if you want to have a good stream and your environment is not acoustically treated, you need to get yourself a good dynamic microphone. It's going to be better than anything else at killing the rejection killing the rejection. It's going to kill more echo in your room simply because it's not going to pick up as much of that. And obviously there are tricks that you can do. I did a video with Rothinium, who is a streamer. He actually reached out to me, and the importance, what is it called? Okay, here it is right here. We talk about the importance of audio to streamers right there. And then we do a second part of the video where we talk about where we talk specifically about what streamers should get. And if you watch those videos, that's where it starts right there. Then you will at least have a pretty decent understanding. Because I'm a big advocate for, if you put yourself on camera, you do want to sound good, but you also want to look good. I hate seeing people obstruct their face with a microphone. It just drives me crazy. Usually I have to stop watching and I just have to listen. Because if you're going to make it all about the way it sounds, I appreciate that for hearing you. As a sound person, I really should like that. But if you put yourself on camera, then you also have to at least have the image in mind as well. There's no point, in my opinion, to put yourself on camera if your face is completely obstructed. And I cannot stand watching streamers that all you can see are their eyes because they have this big windscreen and everything because the microphone is blocking their face. It drives me insane. I can't watch them. That's just me, though. I'm an oddball, as I've said many, many times in the past. I'm very much an oddball. I'm not considered normal in that sense at all. A lot of the times people are just like, oh, yeah, it sounds so good. And it doesn't bother me that I can't see their face. Well, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. You want to get Ping Pong's E100. Gerg, was it you and me that convinced him to spend money to get it? Ping Pong is a guy, it's in the Discord server, and he was talking one night about a guy that was local that was selling, and he will sometimes, as we're talking in Discord, they'll say, oh, look at this guy's selling this, or this guy's selling this. I'm like, oh, that's a ripoff, or oh, that's a good deal. Well, he said somebody local is selling a CAD Equitech E100 for $160. We're like, oh, jump on it. He says, I don't want to spend my savings on that. We said, jump on it and resell it. You can sell it very easily and make another $100 on it. He's like, oh, I don't know. Well, we finally convinced him to do it. The difference is now he doesn't want to sell it. So he basically spent his savings on a microphone. But the good thing is that he did listen. He could use the microphone for a few months, and then he could turn around and resell it at a profit. It does not lose its value. And so he got himself that CAD Equitech E100, and it's awesome. Kevin MX says, use the Q2U all week, no complaints. Good. That was the recommendation. If you've been part of the Discord and Podcastage, or you've watched Podcastage, or you've watched his Bandrew Says podcast, or you in my Discord, that he will recommend, what is it? The AT 2001, 2005, whatever it is, 2010, whatever the AT models are. There's two of those that he likes that are the AT versions of the Q2U. I don't like the sound of those, though. I do like the sound of the Q2U, so that's the only one I ever recommend. But he will mention the ATR 2100, the 2005, whatever they are. ATR 2100 is what Gerg just says, and then there's another one. But what these are hybrid microphones. They are hybrids in the sense that they're both XLR and they're USB. The Q2U is the only one that I like, though. Plug it directly up to your computer. You can use the internal ADC converter, and it sounds great. It's a dynamic microphone, so it's not a Blue Yeti garbage condenser, which I hate that thing. It sounds like garbage. It is actually a good microphone, and it's only like $60. You can get them sometimes on a discount for down to as low as $40. But right now, since the whole COVID-19 mess, it's been shut down. There's been a lot of people, they've been in high demand. Good microphones have been in high demand, and even bad ones have been in high demand. Because a lot of people will recommend microphones simply because it was sent to them for free, which you guys know I don't do. I have trashed microphones I was sent for free. And I've even had manufacturers send me products with the intention of me reviewing it, and I've contacted them and said, you don't want me reviewing this. I shouldn't review this. I've had companies in the past tell me why not. And I've said, well, if you want me to do a very detailed explanation, I will gladly do that in lieu of having to review it. If not, I'll send it back to you if you want. And they're like, oh, no, yeah, but just tell us what you don't like about it. And so I've made them videos in the past. I've turned the camera on. I brought out a mic. I've demonstrated what a bad mic sounds like, which is theirs, and what is a good mic and why they should make certain changes. I had one company that ignored that warning. And I gave it to them 3 times saying, you do not want me to review this. And they were like, no, we really do want you to. I'm like, I shouldn't. And they're like, yes, we really want you to. I'm like, fine. And I trashed it hard. I trashed that microphone hard. There was nothing good to say about it. At the beginning of the video, I was very open and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like I normally am in my videos. By the end, I was bitter, sarcastic, talking about how that microphone shouldn't exist. Hit it pretty hard. Anyway, good times. Okay, let's see. Love the Q2U though. Fall off the bone ribs are easy in a slow cooker. All right, Nathan, you're going to have to come out here and make me some ribs. You taught me into it. There's a Mennonite barbecue place near me that makes amazing ribs. That's awesome. I bet they make really good ribs. I was asking about telework setups. Oh, okay. Let's see here. Telework setups. You can get a Q2U. If you want to use any VSTs, you would have to use something like OBS, which is a free software. You could route it through something like a DAW if you want to, and use some free VSTs that you can easily find if you do a search for, they make a lot of VSTs integrated into a lot of the really good DAWs out there. But for the most part, I would say if you got yourself a Q2U and you just put it fairly close to your mouth or even right here in front of you, you'd be fine with that. If you're just talking about telecommute work setups and having a decent microphone, that would do you just fine. So it says, Jim, look at Rode mics, best bang for your buck. I mean, if you get a Rode condenser, you're still going to have to get an interface. If he's talking about a telework setup and fairly expensive, go for the Q2U. Kevin, I just recommended it to him like last week, and he bought it. He's got no complaints. He's done some classes with it, or at least one. And I'm sure he sounds great in it because it's a great microphone, especially for the money. I mean, geez, I think it's underpriced. I think it's worthy of being a lot more expensive than it is. Depends on your budget. Okay, so yeah, Gerg says that. Yep, okay, we were like, buy it if you don't. Yeah, he's talking about the E100 that Ping Pong saw. If you won't jump on a Cat E100 when it's $160, tell me and I'll jump on it. And I knew that he should get it, so I said, tell you what, I'll go in half with you. I'll go in half on it with you, and I'll share the profit with you. I'll split it in half with you. Because I knew that if he got it and then he turned around and resold it, it would sell more. And then as soon as that happened, he was looking at the prices that they were going for. I think one sold recently on eBay for like $300 and some odd. Anyway, could have made some money there. And if Ping Pong ever wants to sell it, he could easily do the same thing. How many YouTubers use a Yeti as their gold mic? Yeah, you know what? It used to be on YouTube, people didn't bother caring anything about sound. They would basically just do a live stream with the camera mic and turn it up really loud. There's one streamer that I forgot his name, but it's just hilarious to watch because if you do a search on YouTube for something like streamer with worse sound, I don't know how he gets it to sound as bad as he does, but I put it in Discord one night. It was so hilarious. He just cranks the thing wide open. It is so loud and distorted. And then for whatever reason, he keeps yelling. And so it doesn't just clip like normal. It's bad. Like worse, just do a YouTube search if you're interested. A live stream worse microphone. And it'll pop up, I'm sure. Terrible. It's hilarious to watch though, because it's just like, how do you make a microphone sound that bad? A lot of compression and have it up way too high and limit it like crazy. So... But yeah, a lot of YouTubers seem to like the Yeti mainly because of it's simple. It's a big, huge stand you put on the ground, you connect up the thing, it looks big and impressive, but it's a lightweight piece of junk. I mean, if I got a hold of a Yeti, I would probably destroy it by doing, I would take it apart, show how crappy it is on the inside. I would then show how fragile the thing really is, how you couldn't do much with it at all because it's going to break. I mean, they're not made well. They don't sound great. People don't have a tendency, they expect it to be better than it is. So they use it in a really bad garbage scenario. But a few years ago, YouTube started taking sound more seriously. And then during the whole COVID-19 mess, and everybody from the news agency started doing their home stuff, they used to make fun of YouTubers and their sound. So YouTubers improved their camera and sound setups. And then as soon as news people were reporting, and doing sound from home and it sounded like total garbage, YouTubers were reaching out and said, hey, news agencies, you need a little bit of help? I'll be happy to give you some advice. It's kind of funny how what goes around comes around. You can have a big multi-million-dollar TV studio to get yourself decent lighting and sound, but as soon as you start doing the same thing that YouTubers have been doing for a decade now, you start to learn real quickly that it's not as easy. And if you have a news budget, they still didn't even give them the right stuff half the time. Garbage. Anyway, Gerg says, Yeti is hot garbage. Aaron Knight is in here. How's it going there? How is it going, Aaron? Great to see you. If you're teleworking a whole different bear, we use Logitech gear for our remote workers. Yep. That's Logitech. Blue, I think, is owned by Logitech now. If you really want to go there, I'm surprised. Okay. Reaper is an amazing DAW, and you can get it to send a signal to a recording lamp outside the studio and everything. You can, huh? I did not know that, but of course, that's nothing I've ever looked into. I know you can get a Studio Live button that I've thought about getting with, to remote a little thing on the door just to let people know when I'm recording. But my wife and daughters leave me alone anyway. They know I'm going to be in here probably doing something and, either live on YouTube or recording something almost every single night. So they're like, oh, well, leave them alone. Let's see. They know not what they do. Yes, they did. That's correct. I thought I bought the world's worst wireless microphone from Amazon, and I think it would make a great video of what not to buy. Well, guess what, Nathan? I've actually done a video about that. Cheap microphone buying guide. I go down YouTube, I go down Amazon's list, and I talk about what you want to get and what you don't want to get. There is the video right there. And the reason why I did this is because I kept receiving questions from people asking me, would you, there's this wireless thing I saw on YouTube. What do you think? That's garbage. How can you tell just by looking? Well, I can tell you because of the way it's laid out, because there are certain things. If it's an 8-channel wireless system, for example, for $200, 8 channels of wireless for $200 is going to be garbage. There's not going to be any kind of frequency coordination between those. It's going to be fixed frequencies that are ideal in China, where it was most likely going to be made. As soon as you send it over the ocean here to the United States, they have no idea what frequencies we use. You have no idea where it's going to be used in the country. And if it happens to work, great, more power to it. But in a lot of those systems that are multiple lavs, you can pot them up or down, but into 1 or 2 channel output. It'll have a 2-channel out. And because you cannot control left or right, it's going to be a 2-channel mono out, usually through RCAs. Complete garbage and useless. When you start adding in multiple mics, you increase the noise floor of them all. And when you cannot record ISOs, one lav gets a little scratchy, they all going to sound scratchy. So here's the way it works. And you can watch my video on adding decibels if you like further clarification of this. You have one mic with, let's say, a noise floor of 20 dB because it's a wireless. That's extremely low. Let's say 25. If you were to take that and you were to add another microphone with the exact same gain stage and the same exact thing, you have now doubled your noise floor. But normally, because you have 2 different mics, you're not going to ride them both as loud as possible, so you're going to drop them down a little bit. So instead of having a 25 dB noise floor, you might have, let's say, a 40 dB noise floor. As soon as you double them again and have 4, you have again doubled it because you have one microphone. It has 1 times the noise floor. You double it. You actually have, I think it's closer to like 1.5 times. You have 3, and I think it's like 2.25 or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's something like you add 3 dB by adding another microphone. I think it goes up to like 4.8, then it goes to like 6.2 or something. And it's all in that video that I have called Adding Decibels Made Easy, or Adding Decibels. Hold on a second. I referenced it in my recent video about 32-bit floating point. Here it is. I explained the difference between what adding 3 dB, 6 dB, and 10 dB is. If you have not yet watched this, see, this is the reason why I do all these videos, because I can reference it and say, watch this video. It will tell you everything you want to know. And I usually put graphics and demonstrations of things up on the screen. So that's the reason why I do these videos. So that way you don't, you don't need to listen to me say it and then moving right on. You can see me just explain everything with graphics and demonstration of things and stuff. And it is a thing of beauty. You got to love it. About 250 videos here on SoundSpeeds on YouTube. A lot of videos, a lot of content. Alrighty. Yeti sucks. It has 3 crappy sub $2 electret capsules. Yep, it sure does. And every one of them is garbage. There are so many more clearer microphones for the same budget. And you know what's funny is people will spend $100 on a Yeti, and then they'll even ask me, how does it compare to the Snowball, which is like a $69 microphone? So I say, well, you have a Yeti that sounds like garbage, and then you have a cheaper a microphone that's 2/3 of the price, which is cheaper. I was like, and here's the thing. A while back, what is that? What is the guy's YouTube channel? Daily Dose of Internet. Pretty cool channel, how he basically has whatever is trending and he pulls that together into one little simple video. This is your daily dose of internet. And he shows little clips, but his microphone is complete garbage. He's never sounded good. And then one day, because YouTube recommended that I start watching him, so I watched some of his videos. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Daily Dose of Internet. Awesome. I started watching it, but I was like, God, you always sound like crap. Why is that? And then he posted one day a picture of his studio. He's like, people have been asking me what my studio looks like. And he had a hard surface on his table. It was all walls. And then he had a blue snowball sitting on a stand in front of him. I'm like, that's the reason why it sounds like garbage. Everything around him is hard, nothing acoustically treated. He has a snowball sitting on his desk. It's going to sound total like garbage. That's exactly why. But don't Blue and Neat share heritage? Yes, they do. They have the same founders, and some of the original techs were the same. But you got to keep in mind, they can still take some of what they have from the Blue company and put it into Neat if they really want to. But basically, they learned some things and then they moved on to something bigger and better. I think the Neat microphones sound, as a rule, I think they sound better than the Blue microphones. Now, I forgot what somebody said the other day. The Blue Reactor is sounds similar to the Worker Bee or something. Or was it the King Bee? I forgot what it was. It was something like that. Kevin, good night. Thanks for coming in here, man. It's almost midnight. But thanks for dropping in here. But it was something like the Blue Reactor sounds a lot. I think they said like the King or the Worker, one of the two. Can't remember. But, and I said, well, it's a similar thing. But the Blue Reactor looks kind of cool. It's like a $550 microphone or something. But it looks kind of cool. Maybe it was the frequency response looked the same on the two microphones. And that got me triggered into talking about frequency responses. I don't know. So Gerg says, okay, buddy, I'll be back on later. I need to go unpack and clean up. Okay, well, take care, Gerg. I will see you later. Speaking of lav lights, you might want to review Purple Panda. It's sub $50 lav. It's very basic. I think it tops out at 16,000 hertz or something. Its popularity might make for a popular video. Purple Panda. Let me look that one up. I'll at least look it up to see if it's the same. I'm not going to say anything. Purple Panda. Well, I see pictures of Purple Pandas. Lavalier microphone lapel. It's on Amazon. It's $40. Okay. Well, it comes with a lot of adapters. I see what it's for. It's for the vlogger. You basically plug it into your phone because that's why it has TRRS on it. Yeah, and then it shows it goes into a DSLR, Zoom, Tascam, PS4 joysticks, GoPro Hero 2, 3, 3 Plus, 4. And then it says Hero 5, 6, 7, and 8 require GoPros Pro 33.5 millimeter mic adapter not included. Well, guess what? I have a GoPro Hero 4 Black, and you need to have an adapter for that too. It doesn't have a lav input or a place to plug in. Samsung USB-C charger not included, or adapter not included. I mean, it looks like it just comes with a bunch of things. It doesn't look overly... I mean, it's got a decent thing. I'm sure there's videos probably far better than anything I'd want to give it. I'll at least look on YouTube real quick, Aaron, just to at least do it. Purple Panda Lav. Oh yes, 1 year ago. 1 year ago, 3 years ago. Man, this thing is actually, it's an older product. Yeah. I'm not going to be reviewing this. Sorry, Aaron. There's a lot of videos about it already. And I'm sure that it's not going to impress me. So, especially now that I'm between shows, the last thing in the world I think I need to do is spend money on a Purple Panda Lav. Hopefully I'll be on another show in the near future, and I'll be able to do useless and crazy spending again. I need to take this Zip Fizz. All right. YouTube just gave me a warning. Your YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. You may experience buffering. Tell me if you're having any issues with that. In that video, you linked on cheap mics. The terrible wireless set I first got was the second one listed in your results by popularity. Half a year later, I saw your Deity Connect Lav review. Happy. Yeah, so you saw me probably gripe about a gripe about something, and then you would see the reason why. People called me a road shill, and I am. But seriously, they're NT USB. And it's at least a real large diaphragm microphone. Okay, Aaron, I'll take your word for it. I'm not a fan of it personally. I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of it. I had somebody just this week actually send me a video. He says, hey, can you check this video out and tell me what you think of my Rode NT USB? Wasn't impressed. It may have been that his environment wasn't treated and it just didn't sound very good. May have been why. But anyway. The streaming warning went away, so internet should be recovered now. Okay. Let's see here. The bad one I got was the first mic you clicked on even. Okay. So you watch you're watching the video while listening to this, and you're seeing me gripe about lavalier microphones on Amazon. And you're going through it and say, yep, that's the one I got. That's funny. Aaron, Alan, there's only one thing worse than a not sound treated room, and it's a cheap sound treatment. Acoustic foam panels at $13.95 are like kindling, and no one on YouTube cares. Yeah. And that was the background I used to have over here in the studio. And the reason I got it was because it beat looking at my room. And I talked about that in that studio upgrade video, that I did a whole bunch of tests. If you watch a video called Sound Speeds, My History and Starting Sound Speeds, you will see that I actually show a glimpse of the very first sound test I ever did. I never intended anyone to ever see it. So the fact that I had like rubbed my eye really hard and like it was bloodshot red, and I looked like total garbage. I'm like wearing a red shirt that I sleep in, and I just looked like a bum. The camera was It was just set up looking at the room. I don't even think it was the webcam I'm using right now. I don't even think it was that good. It was just the whole video was just garbage. As a matter of fact, the very opening phrase I thought sounded cool, and I almost made that instead of Pro Sound Tips from a Pro Sound Guy, which was my original thing. Now it's Sound Advice from a Pro Sound Guy. After I did my rebranding, that was one of the suggestions, and I said, that's brilliant. That's a lot better. That way it's not reduplicating. It's not reduplicating. It's not duplicating the same phrase, same catchphrase. But my original phrase was making sound better. And I was thinking, oh, that's going to sound really good. And then I saw a product by Bumblebee Industries, and it said making sound better. I'm like, that's where I got it from. I didn't even realize that's where I got it from. So it's like one of those things you're like, oh man, this would be like the most brilliant thing in the world. Someone should make this. You go on YouTube, or not YouTube, but you go on Google and you find that someone already has. And you're like, crap, someone's already made it. It's kind of the way it was there. It was like, you know, I was thinking about it, and anyway, that when I did my very first initial test for sound speeds, you get a chance to see what that looks like. I look terrible. I sound okay because the E100's right in front of my face, not like in the shot, but it's right there, like underneath me. And that was initial test. That was SoundSpeed's Genesis. Anyway, Purple Panda isn't great in my opinion, but like the Yeti, it's marketing and meme factor. Yeah, that's cool. And to get some sleep, Matthew, you're heading on. Thanks to the chat, Alan. Good night, everyone. I know it won't impress you. That's why I suggested it. Oh, that's funny. I'm having buffering issues, but I don't care. It is what it is. Okay. Hey, Boompole, Batman, you're savage tonight. Okay. Well, let's see here. We have caught up on chat yet again. It is now almost midnight my time. Been streaming for an hour and 11 minutes and 47 seconds. Not quite as good as that one day about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, that I streamed 9 hours in one day. That was pretty awesome. I did a live stream that was about 4 hours and 20 minutes, something like that. And then I did another one that evening because I was bored and I was like, I'm going to do that again. You said it's 5 a.m. there. You must be in the UK. I'm assuming the UK. That means you've been up all night. Aaron, let me ask you a quick question here. You sent me a message back when I was doing the Sound Speeds podcast, and you and I went back and forth a bunch, and I sent you a voiceover. Did you ever use that? Did y'all ever use that voiceover, the question I asked for your podcast show? Did y'all ever use that? Or was it just, it was never used and I got it to you too late? I'm just curious. I've always been curious about that because I never did hear back from you when I sent you a message asking if it was ever used. Not yet. Okay. So it's just not been used. That's cool. Well, if you ever run out of content, you want to throw it in there, by all means, go on it. We're on a 6-month planning schedule. Okay, cool. It's in the queue. Gotcha. Wow. You can plan 6 months out. Anybody who was in here tonight would realize that about 15 minutes before this stream went live, I was like, I'm going to do a live stream. If you saw my interview on Sunshines and Power Cuts, Sunshine Summit, that was this last Sunday. If you do a search for Sunshine and Power Cuts on YouTube, you'll see that she's either just finished up the Sunshine Summit. I promise I can say words. And I was the person that helped her launch it on Sunday. So I was her first interview, and I mentioned it there. Kind of funny. It's in the queue, probably this or next month. All right, cool. No problem. No problem at all. It is now rolling over to midnight in the next couple of seconds. It's cool. Well, I still got videos to edit and that I shot in 2008. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Tell you what, I'm going to probably call it there too. I am going to probably watch a movie. If anybody is in here and wants to, feel free to join me in Discord. We may do a watch together and watch something together. I've been wanting to watch something maybe on Netflix or something. I don't know. Figure something out. But questions have all been answered, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Just to give you a heads up, though, I'm probably going to try to do a live stream in the next couple of weeks where it would feature viewers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it through StreamYard, and I'm going to say, send me a message. And if you want to be a guest that I bring on to ask questions or to troubleshoot something live or what have you, that would be an option. Or if I don't do that, what I might do is open it up to stream to voice conversations from Discord, and have a conversation where we can talk sound and ask questions or whatever through Discord. I'll do one of the two. Don't know exactly what I want to do just yet. Do you ever do Discord on voice channel? Yeah, we were doing it last night. In every one of my videos, Aaron, it has information at the bottom of my video about my Discord channel, and you can click the link and go in, and you can join the Discord channel. And I'm going to be in it tonight even. And so as soon as we end the stream in the next couple of minutes, I'll jump in Discord and we'll talk or goof off, laugh. I'm interested in watching something tonight, so we might just do watch together and watch something together as a group, or who knows, might have a Netflix watch party. So. Yeah, missing stuff because of time zones, but you're here tonight. You're a member, yeah. Anyway, like when guest talks about something, yeah. All right, cool. What do I think about Reaper? I'll use Reaper, Lucas. I love it. That's the DAW I use. It's got a learning curve that's different if you're used to something else, like Audition or like even old school SoundForge days. If you're familiar with Audacity, there's a learning curve there. You kind of got to go into the settings and figure it out and tweak it for you. And once you do, powerful, very clean, sounds great. Everything I do through Reaper, I love. So I highly recommend it. And you can get it. You can use the free license. Even when it expires, you can still technically use it. But I always say that you need to go ahead and pay money for it. The user license is only like $75 or $80. And definitely you want to support products that you like, because that's how they make them better. And it's totally, as Aaron just said, it's non-destructive. So you don't need to, it's not like Audacity where you open it up and it says, would you like to edit the actual file? Or would you like to make a copy of it? It doesn't do, not Discord. The way Reaper works is you open up a file and it will automatically, if you set a file to automatically save to, it will auto save that file every minute or so. And what's really cool about that is that you can go in and save it whenever you want to, and you can still undo past that save. So if I make 3 or 4 changes, after I've saved, I can still back up. I can still undo. The only thing about Reaper is that you need to know where those files are being rendered. The file, the internal cache, you need to know where that folder is, because it will fill up if you deal with a lot of very big files. If, for example, you record a podcast every week and it's about a 3-hour podcast and you have guests and you record multiple channels, and if you edit it in Reaper, you're going to suddenly find that your hard drive fills up very quickly. Usually about once every 4 to 6 months, depending on the videos I do, I will have to go into the cache and delete out like 30 gigabytes of sound files from this render cache. Because what will happen is it will slowly start accruing. It will slowly start building up. And because I fill up the buffer, I fill up it quicker than it will auto delete. So, oh, you can also save your undo history. That's awesome. Yeah, and Michael Delgadio also has classes on Reaper on his channel. Reaper Blog is a great channel that if you like Reaper, then you can definitely go to the Reaper Blog's website, and he has all kinds of tips and tricks on there. Really amazing channel if you want Reaper information. Working on Central Standard Time at the moment. Okay. That's interesting, Aaron. But yeah, you can archive your Reaper caches. I just delete mine. The only thing I don't like is that you can't open OMF, AAF, or XML. Yeah, well, nothing's perfect. Sorry, dude. It's still a great program. I still use it for every one of my videos. Every single one of my videos I use through Reaper. So I always edit my audio, which is in my YouTube video. I talk about how I prep my audio for YouTube, and I did the video like 2 months ago, how I process my audio for YouTube. I do that. I prepare the entire file, and then I take that, sync it up to the picture, and then I just edit my video from there. I started using Reaper, but I think to try Pro Tools or Nuendo. I don't know that program. Nuendo? But I'm quite in love with Reaper. Yeah, it's a great program. Love it. So definitely check it out. I got to ask though, Aaron, are you recording everything in 32-bit floating point, or was just the fireworks? I'm curious about that. I archive, basically sometimes it moves source audio and then it gets lost. So I have a don't delete a damn thing policy. I put everything onto tape. Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. You saw my 32-bit floating point video, Aaron, hopefully. Hope you're amongst the people that have watched it. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Aaron, Andrew, I think you misspelled the word. But that's okay. I'll go ahead and put it out there anyway. You just got your SoundSpeed shirt in the mail. I guess you ordered through the Teespring. Thanks for doing that. You record in 24-bit. Okay, Aaron, you're not going to be scolded. Export to 32 when it clips. Okay, that's fine. No, I've been able to bring myself to watch it. You haven't been able to bring yourself to watch it. Aaron, come on. I spent hours. I spent over 30 hours editing that video alone. I spent probably about, if you want to be honest about it, I've probably spent 6 to 8 hours just writing the copy for it, which I will add that it was a request, a special request from one of the viewers, that he asked if I would put the copy of that 32-bit floating point video online. And I said, sure. And so I did exactly that. And here is, if you want to watch the video and you want to watch the copy, there you go right there. That is the copy to my 20 or 32-bit float point video. It is right there. I added it in the description of the 32-bit float point video. So if you want to listen to me blab away, if I start to lose you a bit, or you want to hit pause on the screen and you want to see the words, it's right there. I'm not a master of Squarespace by any means. So if anybody out there is a master of Squarespace and can offer assistance, the one thing I would love to be able to do would have the video on one side and the words on the other side, and I would like you to be able to scroll the words without having to move the video on the screen. Or maybe as you start to scroll up, the video stays with it and moves up with it. If anybody is a master of Squarespace and wants to offer some assistance, I would absolutely love that. But yes, 30 hours in editing alone just to edit that video. But no, it should not make 800 hours worth of work for you. But, it would at least be something that would clarify and explain how 32-bit works and stuff. I'm so tempted to actually tell you some things about it now, but no, I'm going to just let it go. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But I will tell you this. Almost everything you do in 32-bit floating point has quantization errors in it because of the nature of 32-bit float. Whether you're able to hear it or not is a completely another matter. But just about every single bit you record in 32-bit floating point is going to be imperfect because of the nature of 32-bit floating point. And again, you're probably not going to ever hear it. You're not going to ever notice it unless you look at the bits itself. But anyway, there you go. There's a reason why Reaper has an option to warn you when fewer than X megabytes is free. Yeah. But you want to know what's funny? Is I actually disabled that. I disabled that and pretty much every other warning. And then about once every 4 to 6 months, I'll be editing and all of a sudden it'll say, you have no more space on this hard drive. I'm like, oh crap, I got to go into the drive again. And I'll open it up and I'll say, oh, there, when you know it, there's 40 gigs of of sound I need to delete. I'll hit delete on it, and then it'll say, we found space on your hard drive. Would you like to save this? I'm like, absolutely. It's kind of funny. Anyway, don't be afraid, Aaron. It's a lot of information, but it's awesome. At least I believe it is. Yeah, autocorrect is the worst. 30 hours. Okay. I am mortally afraid, Alan. Don't be afraid. It's just a little sound speeds video. In fairness, if I could hear things like that, we wouldn't use lossy compression. Yeah. Well, and I tell you, it's like I said, you're talking about things on a microscopic level, and people say all the time, I can hear the difference between this and this. Some things you can. I will tell you straight up, if there's people that I believe can legitly hear something, and people I think are full of crap. There are some things that I do know that I cannot hear the difference between, but I do know that some people can. Legitly, I don't hear the difference either because I don't hear up that high. One of the things I'll do, for example, I remember being a kid and having a TV that I remember it was an old TV. I had, it was what my Atari 2600 went to. The screen was probably this big. When you turned it off, after it had been on for a while, you'd see the electrons squash in to this little dot in the middle. And it would sit there. That dot was white on the screen. And then over the course of time, it would start to dissipate and fade out. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you were around in the 80s also. But that type of TV was what my TV was as a kid. It was black and white, and I played my Atari 2600 to it. And that is old school. I remember when I killed that, there was a high-pitched ringing that happened. When you first turned on a TV, like those old school TVs, you would hear a high-pitched ringing. TVs, I think, still do that, but adults normally don't hear it. My kids, I will turn on an app on my phone called either Annoy a Teenager, or I'll do the sound. What is it? I'll just find the app for you real quick and I'll show it to you. It's really funny though. It has the ability to dial in on frequencies. What is the thing? I used it for my recent video that I did where, what was that video? Cloud Lifter, Fed, SE Electronics, Dynamite, that kind of thing. Tone generator. Oh, there it is. It's called Tone Gen, and it has like sine waves, and there's the sine wave. You can do a triangle wave, a sawtooth wave. There's a reverse sawtooth wave, a square wave, white noise, pink noise, brown noise. And then you also have the ability to dial in on an exact frequency. So if I hit stop here, I can go to preset frequencies. Stop. Choose, let's say, regular sine wave. I'm going to go to presets, and you could dial in on the exact frequencies you're interested in. So 200, which it's kind of hard to hear. 400, 1K. There's like 1.25, 2K, 4, 8, 16, and by now it's going to be rolling off on YouTube, so you'll never hear above that. But one of the things I'll do is I will go over here, hit Explore, and you can actually dial in on the exact frequency that you want. So I'll actually do this. I'll dial in on a frequency. I'll hit stop on it. So sorry, I'm just killing everybody with these tones. But on YouTube, you won't be able to hear this right now. But you see it says 18.8223 or 18.8233 kilohertz. My wife just sent me a text, says, was that noise you? Yes. Sorry. It's after midnight here. She's like, what is that sound? She's got good ears. I've always told her, don't ever be a sound person. You're gonna hate everything you hear. Anyway, so, but if you use this kind of a thing, you can dial in on the exact frequencies that you want. And what I'll do sometimes if I want to just play with my kids, this is how I play with my kids, right? I'll hit the tone generator on a very high frequency, and I'll see them all, Dad, and that's the kind of thing they'll do is they'll say, Dad, what are you doing? You're doing that noise thing again. It's funny. Anyway, but yeah, there's a tone generator for you. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I thought I heard it was still on. I was like, wait a second. I knew it. That turned it off. Oh no, my wife is in the stream. She's in the stream. Yeah, that's what happened. Sorry, honey. That's how we get the wife to join the stream, by having me annoy her from another room. But yeah, she, like I said, she's got very good ears, and she'll hear that kind of thing and not be amused. So sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Let me go back in the questions here. Yes, I brought a Foreigner CD that came with a digital download and MP3. I couldn't wait to put it in my thumb drive and play it in the car. I was on the motorway. I remember I have new music. Yep. 128 kilobits per second MP3. You know what? They can still do some really cool things with 128 kilobits per second MP3s. Now, it's not going to ever be lossless. Speaking of lossless, here's what lossless is in difference in kilobits per second. 1,411.2 is the kilobit rate of lossless audio. That would be for lawless, like if you lossless, if you were doing like an 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz sample rate recording. Which, by the way, if you want to have a little bit of fun and do some math, you can look at that by saying that 1,411,200 kilobits, because that's how many. No, 1,411.2 kilobits. Yes, so that was million. That was right. If you take that and divide that by 48K, you end up with something like 29 point something, like 29.4, 29.5, whatever that is. That's how many frames a second your video would have to be in order to do a proper and accurate representation of a 48K 16-bit sample rate. Now, that would be if also if you're wanting to basically take that audio and record it on something like originally sound was recorded onto like U-matic 3/4. I actually did a video about this. It's called Sample Rate. I'll just let you watch that video rather than have me reiterate it here. I will post that if anyone would like to watch it. It's called Sample Rate. And I explain the difference between 44.1 and 48K. So I'll just put that in the chat down below in case anyone would like to see it. You can hear I can geek out about that stuff, but you can hear me explain the entire thing in 4 minutes and 16 seconds. I talk about the history and everything. So it's going to be a lot more efficient than me re-explaining it now. So here we go. Sounded like it was recorded underwater. Oh, Alan, you love a theremin. Oh no, I would not. My sound mixer, Aaron Siegel, he actually is familiar with theremins, and we did a TV show a few years ago, and it was like it was the pilot of a TV show called Satisfaction. The pilot's name was Neil Inc., and part of it was a talent show, and the person went in front of the actor that was on the show was using a theremin, and I tell you want to talk about annoying me with a sound, that theremin, I was not amused. Anyway, that's what happened. That was awful. Yeah. Penelope is indeed my wife. And it says, sometimes we claim each other. Yeah. So, yes, she will, when I'm in trouble, she'll pop in the chat live, and that's when I know I'm in trouble. Okay. Yeah, I do talk about her all the time. Don't tell her that though, because if you tell her that, I'm in trouble again. She doesn't like me talking about her. She always wonders what I say. But no, she's absolutely wonderful in every single way. I don't think she's in here anymore. But she knows I love her to death, and she's extremely patient with me. Otherwise, she would have killed me in our 16 plus years of marriage. But no, she could not be more supportive of me and what I do and that kind of thing through SoundSpeeds here. and everything. So, no, it's fine. It's all good. Don't worry. You say that. But I tell you, Aaron, your country, she and I have been there. We got married in your country. So we got married in Scotland, actually. So I think you're in England. But we spent our honeymoon after the first night. We spent our honeymoon in London. So there you go. All right. Well, yes, really. Hop in my Discord real quick. I'm going to go ahead and call this here because it's you and I talking back and forth. We might as well do this in Discord. No one else is asking questions. So I'm going to go ahead and call the stream right here. But hop in the Discord real quick and we can talk. I will tell you about it in Discord. Oh, no, she's here. She's still here. It's fine, LOL. I just want to come on and warn him if he scatters the kids or when he scatters the kids or the cats. Well, the kids should be in bed now if it's 12:20 a.m. Hopefully they're in bed. You know, open up that door and see if they're down there watching Markiplier or something like that. I don't know. Anyway. All right, well, y'all take care. Thanks for coming in tonight. And we have 17 people in here. Thanks for the 7 likes. And cool. Y'all take care. I will see you if you in the future. And if you are on right now and you have an interest in joining Discord and participating in the conversation, by all means, Discord links are in every one of my videos, including this one down below. Feel free to join the Discord and we will talk. I'm going to jump in the thing right now and we can talk. Anyway, y'all take care. Thanks for coming in. China Drum, Aaron Knight, Scary Castle, everybody, including my wife. Sorry again, honey. Don't mean to annoy you yet again, which I constantly do, I know. Anyway, y'all take care. And thanks for coming in. Good night.